Welcome to the Scooter Pitch Podcast. There are no winners, no prizes, but if you're lucky, you'll get robbed. This is the show where my YouTube members submit their creative works to get roasted. And if anyone in the audience wants to steal the idea or make some tasteful fan art, we'll feature it in the next episode. We encourage theft because your ideas are not special. If you're interested in having your original work roasted in the next episode, become a YouTube member and you'll get a spot. It's only $2, no promises it'll stay that low forever, and you'll find the submission form under the membership tab. Meanwhile, if you want to steal any of the submitted pitches, at me on Blue Sky or Substack, and I will feature you on the next episode. Just so we're clear, you do not have to pay for us to show off your fan art and thievery, but showing off your original ideas, you gotta pay up for that. And we have recently sweetened the deal for members. You can now submit an unmade elevator pitch and anything you've made recently. That's right, your membership now gets you access to 2 submission forms. It was a hit last episode. The second form is here to stay. How you feeling, Komugi, the creator of Genki and Sienna and the voice actress for Sunday Redial?
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here and very excited to talk about all the kind-hearted people who submitted art to you personally, Taper, and who tagged you on Blue Sky. There's a lot of really cool people who made art for this episode, and I cannot wait for you to talk about all of it. I'm very thrilled that people are excited about my series Genki and Sienna, and I have some fan art to show off of that series as well, which just makes me thrilled. It's like that's the first time I've been able to say that.
Yes, that is just so cool. I'm really happy with all the support and love that Genki and Sienna is getting even before it's debuted. This is great. But before we get into that, for visual stimuli, I am playing a speed draw for a 4-page manga that I'm drawing. My last manga one-shot, AI is Evil, it was very dark and heavy with the hatching and, because it's a horror manga, so, it's the appropriate time to really go deep with that. But the thing is, I wanted to figure out, okay, this is something that's always bothered me with my art abilities, is I'm very bad at drawing faces, and specifically really beautiful characters, I should say like Ikemen characters, and I have a lot of problems with facial symmetry and things like that. So you will see on screen I'm playing with 3D models and trying my absolute best. And eventually I do figure it out. Eventually I redraw, I try the same pose again and again, but I eventually figured it out, and I'm really happy with this art style that I've got. I'm just doing a little test manga to try to get a feel for this style, because now that I've made a manga that goes really heavy and dark, let's see if I could do the opposite. And a lot of my manga does kind of go back and forth where I feel like, okay, I executed this concept. Now let's try to do the opposite. And even though the spirit of this podcast is you just move on, you keep going. I did execute on the joke that we said last episode. I did submit my last manga one shot to Manga Plus creators under the title AI is Evil. And I am really touched by the warm reception that's gotten. Right now it is in the monthly rankings, which blows my mind. I did not think it would reach that level. So I thank you so much, everyone who's read it and shared it, commented. Hopefully, if the comments keep rolling, I could keep my spot in the monthly rankings, and that would be very, very cool. I just feel very moved that people read it, and the reception's been good. So thank you.
I'm so happy for you. You really, really deserve every single one of those comments you get on AI is Evil.
Thank you.
And I really am so happy to see the discussions that are happening in the comment section too. I went over there and commented using my new account to Manga Plus that I created called Genki and Sienna. And I was having so much fun in the comments talking with people. They all had so much appreciation for the mascot character.
Yes.
We're just very much fond of him. He's adorable.
Yes. Oh, he is a good egg. Yeah. I don't want to get too greedy or pushy. Have conversations in the comment section. It does help in the algorithm on Manga Plus. They favor comments disproportionate to view count. So even if your view count isn't high, if you have enough comments, you can keep up your ranking. So you know what? Just, you don't even have to say anything about the manga. If you just want to comment what you had for breakfast, that'd be appreciated too.
It's amazing. Well, I'm really, really, I'm really happy that we could have this show to talk a little bit about more of the release of AI is Evil, because one of the most positive things I've always said that I feel came from the server and all of our friends that we made through there is that we can interview each other about our creations. And I wanted someone to be able to talk to you about AI is Evil. And as far as I can tell, this is the first time you're on a public show talking with someone else about it, right? There wasn't any stream I missed or anything like that?
No, I don't think so. I did a little promo video about it just to let people know. Yeah, but I think it was just that and the previous Scooter Bitch podcast that I talked about AI is evil. Yeah, but this one that I'm drawing now, it's kind of a silly premise. Or I don't know if I should get off topic so soon if we wanted to talk more about AI is evil, or because this one that I'm drawing now, because I will have it done probably in a few days from when this goes online. I'm not really going to do much of a promotional push for this one that I'm drawing now, because I'm like going all in on promoting AI is evil, because I was able to look into their monthly rankings. So it is just going to be nonstop talking about AI is evil to try to like lock down a spot in the top 10. And side note, with Manga Plus, their monthly contest, even if you get a spot in the top 10, that doesn't mean that you win, because from there then the judges will pick which ones they think are worthy of winning. So even though it's still like kind of up to their whims, I don't know, like I'm getting this like, no, but I gotta try, I gotta push this, I gotta market it, I gotta keep yelling about this amazing manga that I made. It's like I'm making up for all the years of just non-marketing for all my other manga. So I'm gonna be real annoying about this.
Really happy for you that you're going to keep pushing the series, no matter like what number it gets on a site, because I've always been of the belief that like it's okay if it's not at a certain number on a site, like it's not 2 or 1 or something, because it's like it's about the positive experiences from it and the positive support. And I want you to keep pushing to get that. I'm going to make a post on That One Lucario Fan, my other channel, right now to also tell everyone to go support AI is Evil. I started off by promoting it on the... Of course, I'm happy to. I started off by promoting on the Genki and Sienna channel, because that's a channel all about art. Basically, every community post on Genki and Sienna is always art I made, or like fan art or something like that. And I want to also tell the That One Lucario Fan page, because I'm trying to make that page be more about supporting indie artists as well. It used to be the anime review channel, but I'm trying to expand it.
Yeah, that's good. That's I feel like this channel is on a similar trajectory. Like, start out by reviewing books and movies, and well, there's only so much of that I could do. So now onto art talk. I kind of feel
you go first. I have something really exciting I wanted to ask you about.
Oh yeah, I kind of feel like because I made the one shot I did before this was 5 rejections, and that was like an idea I had for a while. And AI is evil. That like explained last episode, that was a storyboard I did. Like, I was in the middle of making that manga before my YouTube channel took off. Then I picked it back up and finished it. I have this feeling of like, wow, I kind of like did the manga that I wanted to make. Like, now I feel like, okay, now that I've like just made all of this manga, now it's like I need to do something new so that I could just get an idea for a new manga. Because like, if I'm going to the Manga Meets 4-page contest and just being like, all right, Manga Meets, what do you got for me? I'll draw for you. Like, if I'm in that mindset, then that means like, okay, I need to like get some new experiences so that I can think of something to make. So I'm either gonna like start up with reviewing more stuff just so I can consume more media, just start thinking of that, or maybe I'll just disappear completely, just get on a bus somewhere and write about that. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But manga is just fun. Like, it's just fun to make manga. Like, yeah, like it's like, even though it's like, okay, I'm flat out of ideas, it's like, so I need to force myself from my tablet and actually get more external input. I just love manga. Like, I just want to stay at my desk and draw manga. So that is hard.
I completely understand the feeling of like, manga is always going to be something that's really special to you, and you're always interested to make it, because just the other day in the server, bonding with everyone, we had so much fun talking about 2 very different manga. There was Battle Angel Alita, aka Gum, and also Sugar Sugar Rune, one of which is a girl's manga, Magical Girl, and another one is a girl who also is somewhat magical at how she uses freaking robot powers to kick people in death. So very different tones. So manga is so cool because like an independent artist, or like an artist working on their own, can like tell whatever kind of story they're really passionate about. And I think it's incredible that you're making so many like original properties. Like, none of these are fan art of an existing series. And even if they were fan art, that would still be peak as well, because your Pokemon's fan art and your Volo fan art is just as passion filled.
Thank you.
I mean, just as much to me. Of course, I love to tell you about how much I love that stuff. I wanted to say, like, I think manga is a great place for you to be able to explore your creativity, and you're making IPs, and like people could someday want to do a dramatic reading of them or anything.
That'd be cool. Yeah, dramatic reading. Oh, yeah. There was something that you wanted to say before I went on my whole tangent. Did you remember what that was?
Oh, of course. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't interrupt the wonderful talk about AI is evil. And this is a reminder one more time to everyone listening to this episode. Please go read that manga if you have not already. It is seriously one of the most passionate like manga that I've read in some time. And that's saying a lot because there's been a lot of good manga I've read recently. On that note, the thing I was going to bring up is that your Takopi's Original Sin review inspired me to reread Takopi.
Oh, nice. Wow, that's great. I know that manga's a little heavy, so like even though there's a mascot character, it's not really one that I would like push for you to read. I'd be curious, if you do a review of it on your channel, I'd be really happy to hear your thoughts.
Yeah. I would say my thoughts evolved and became more defined and realized upon watching your video and like hearing how much it means to you. Because when I first experienced it, of course, I'm glad to like tell you about how much I appreciate your reviews. And I also remember you mentioned something about planning to review the newest Pixar film, which I know that like that's a bit of an annoying thing to have to do to like, I got to talk about Pixar again, but I'm very hyped to hear your thoughts on this one because Elio is one I saw and it was very interesting because I saw some good and I saw some bad and I would enjoy either type or maybe a mixed, whatever type of opinion you have on it. Because I find it very fascinating. I would compare it a lot to Luke, where Luca was the same way, where it was a more modern style animation that very much is like being, I don't know how to describe it except to call it like very Cartoon Network, Disney Channel type of style of like dramatic over the top faces and like skipped frames sometimes.
Yeah.
And Elio very much like that. It reminds me of like Steven Universe stylistically, or like Craig of the Creek, or like one of those.
Yeah.
And Luca was the same way. And Luca came out and was very contentious as well. And like some people were big fans for it. Other people were like, no, this sucks. I'd love to hear your Elio take. Yeah. So if you do plan to do that, I would love to hear that. But I also understand that like you really wanted that Taco P video to be better and it deserved it.
I think
it's great.
I think you know what? Here's what I'll blame instead of blaming my, I'll blame some external factors as you do when things don't go your way. I'm going to guess that, if you publish an anime review like a few hours after the anime has aired and you put like episode 1 spoiler, that might like deter some people from clicking on it if they haven't watched it. Luca was interesting. Cause like, I haven't watched the new Pixar movie. That was just a joke. But like, no, like I've had enough people say like, oh yeah, what did you think of the new Pixar? I was like, okay, I guess I'm reviewing it. But yeah, Luca was interesting because when I watched that, I was like, man, if I saw this in middle school, this would be my favorite movie. It was one of those where I didn't really care for it, but I could see what they were going for, and I was just like, I would be so in love with this. Like, because Luca just felt very gay. And and that like kind of media, just any semblance of queerness in media for kids, like that really stuck with me. So I know that really would have had an impact on me if I had seen it when I was younger, but I don't know now I'm old, so I don't know. I guess it doesn't have the same sparkle and pizzazz, but I think there was a good intentions with it. I hope.
Yes, I totally understand what you mean. With these films like Luca and Turning Red is another one, and Elio, they mean a lot to our current younger generation, and I think it's really interesting. Like, it's fair to criticize it, and I love to see people who go like, well, this element in Luca was not as well done. Like, I know YMS was a bit mixed on the film, and it was interesting to hear his issues with it. But I also think it's really cool that like there's this fandom of like young people who like these are defining movies for them in the same way that like us in the 2000s and stuff like that had like Scott Pilgrim. Like this is kind of like they're that.
No, yeah, I got that sense where I was like, I would be all in on fanfics of this and like searching this on DeviantArt if this had came out when I was in middle school. That was like my feeling when I saw Luca. Like, and that is something special when like encountering media where it's just like just knowing that it really would have hit hard if I was at the right age for it. But then there are like some movies where it's like, okay, this is for a younger demographic, but but I still just am having fun with it. I still enjoy it, you know, where it's not always just, it's not always like, oh, I'm too old for this. Like, I mean, like, I was too old for Steven Universe like, when that came out. And I really enjoyed that. Like,
and there, I thought I was too old for it, and I fell in love with Steven Universe.
I know.
I love that show.
Oh yeah, it's great. Yeah, same. Like, and you know, you mentioned Turning Red, and it's just like, wow, this is like by definition the most not for me movie, but like I had a blast watching it. Like, it was really fun. Like,
wonderful. I totally love Turning Red as well.
Yeah.
I love the message that it is okay to be a little fluffy mascot, and no one is ever going to be able to tell you to put that mascot form away. I resonated with that.
Oh my gosh, yes. I loved the resolution of Turning Red so much. I just made me so happy. Like, and like it was just very, like, not to turn this into the Pixar podcast, but like I just really appreciated like the different way, like just like the directing. I'll just summarize that. Like, it was directed very well. Just really appreciated like the composition of the scenes. Yeah. And it was this thing where it's just like, yeah, I know this is like Grubhub Beanmouth art style, but it's moving around really interestingly. So like I'm engaged. It's like I like looking at this. Like,
beautifully said. And I do think this was relevant to the topic of the podcast because I wanted to check up with you and see how you were feeling about your most recent vid, the Takapi vid. It was awesome. And I wanted to say that I myself was content, had been in a bit of a rut. I did do a cool new animation where I got to participate in something called a reanimated project. You probably know about reanimated project.
Yeah. I know which one you're talking about, but yeah, if you want to explain to the podcast what you did. Definitely.
Yeah, I got the honor to be able to participate in a reanimated project for the classic Hi Hi Puffy Amiyumi, which is a cartoon based around a Japanese pop band, which is the band that sung the Teen Titans theme song, like the original one.
Mm-hmm.
And Teen Titans Go also uses like samples from them. They didn't like actually perform the Teen Titans Go one, but it uses samples from them. And Hi Hi Puffy Amiyumi is kind of a cult classic because it was like a nostalgic cartoon for a lot of people. And I got to do 2 parts in it. And when I was doing the second part, I was really at a rut because I couldn't think about anything to talk about in like videos where I talk and review. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't do like any reviews for a little while. And I watched your Takapi's video and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to be able to make content again. I realized how fun it is. And that is why I did the Office video where I did a tier list of who I would be friends with in the Office.
That was such a good video. I love that one. Yes.
Your comment was so sweet. I really appreciated that comment. I've got to go write a response to it as well because what you brought up like is really good ideas for future videos because I can go all day about the Office. I love that you're passionate about it too.
I love The Office. Yeah, it is very good comfort food of a show.
Yeah, so that's basically what's been going on with me. And on that note, I feel like what would you like to talk about first, Taper? Because I know that you have different segments.
Yeah, let's bring up the thievery that I'm gonna play along with the podcast. I'm gonna call it thievery. Because if you draw someone's ideas, isn't that a form of theft? So let's see. Let's start out. We got first we got Nisa, and she posts on Blue Sky. Check out The Deathless. Such an amazing story. Cannot wait to see where Kay's journey takes her. And we got a really cool drawing of Kay, the very cool protagonist of The Deathless, and some sketches.
Yeah, I love this art. Nisa should be so proud, and it was very sweet of them to do art of The Deathless because we've talked about it so much on this podcast, and now Nisa's doing art of it. It just warms my heart because Nisa drew some art for me as well of me, Komugi, which is like sort of my girl that I represent myself with, my insert, my Sona, being together with the love of my life, Tirami. And me hugging that little fluffy mascot, I was like, this was such a drawing made with love that was really sweet of Nisa to make. So I'm glad that Nisa's making art for other people, and that's just a very giving thing to do. Yeah. I love to see that.
And then I took that drawing, and that is in AI is Evil. That is I won't put it on screen. I want people to go to the manga and look for it themselves. But
you want to see Tirami, the love of my life, and you want to see me as a cute girl that I identify as. It is in AI is Evil.
Yeah,
it's so cool.
Yes, it is in AI is Evil. Yeah, and I
just
really
want to say I'm so thankful you did that. I'm just so glad that Tirami exists in an original manga. I know you had to remove his flower to make him a little bit more copyright friendly, but like it was so cool to see him in the manga. Like I just want to spread positivity about that character, and like the fact that in 2025 there's a new manga with Tirami in it is like, woo, that's awesome.
Yes. Yeah. So Nisa was very kind and giving and gave you that fan art, and I just stole it for my manga.
This is the kind of stealing I'm okay with. If anyone wants to get a character as hot as Tirami in your manga, please do. I would love that.
Yes. All right. So next up, we have a drawing from Mayday from Space. And so Mayday from Space, she posts on Blue Sky, Sunday Redial, and Harpy Story fan art for the Scooter Pitch podcast. This is adorable. First one is a drawing of Weasel and Akari, the ferret from your other art review show, Sunday Redial. And we also have Harpy Story looking adorable.
Bravo for Ellen's manga. I'm so glad that Mayday from Space felt comfortable publicly posting and tagging you to feature both of these works in the show because they're both fantastic. Harpy Story is something that we have also talked about a lot on the channel. And Ellen has just finished chapter 1 of Harpy Story. So this is such a beautiful way to celebrate the completion of chapter 1.
And that brings me to another great post that we got. So this is congratulating chapter 1 of Harpy Story, posted by Kino. Late congratulations to Ellen Horizon for finishing the first chapter of Harpy Story. This is so cool. Oh my gosh, this ink work is amazing. I love their expressions. And Sue the Harpy just looks so cute. I just love how the feathers are rendered in this.
Yes, I completely agree with you there. Kino is amazing at art, and I was very, very flattered of the art that they've drawn for me in the past before. They've also drawn my husband Tirami looking very, very sultry and cute. And I feel like Kino is very much a positive ally when it comes to what Ellen appreciates and what I appreciate and what you appreciate, which is those non-human characters. And it's basically like Ellen is a big fan of Monster Girls in particular. And you'll see a lot of Monster Girl themes in all the different content that Ellen has made or is currently working on. The theme of Harpy Story is the tagline is Monster Love Will Save the World. And that was inspired by me joining the server and talking about how important interspecies romance is. And I completely agree that Kino is a great artist for drawing that kind of content. Sue does look absolutely adorable.
And then we got one more. We got Amy Warrel, author of The Deathless, drew a Harpy Story. Like if you are gay, read Harpy Story and The Deathless.
It's a very cute one. It's actually based on the cover of chapter 1 of Harpy Story. The cover of chapter 1 of Harpy Story also has Sue hugging this heart-shaped pillow just like this.
Amy's gonna get too powerful if she gets really good at illustration because she's already goated at writing.
Absolutely. I see what you mean. That is a very powerful balance. I should mention I've written several 3,000, 4,000 word little short stories as well myself.
So I heard that you got some Genki and Sienna fan art.
Yes, absolutely. I'd be happy to send that to you right now.
Awesome.
I'm going to put the first one in the chat. And oh my goodness, it looks like someone who will be a little bit familiar to what we've just talked about. It's by Kino.
Oh, this is so cute. Oh my gosh, he's so fluffy.
I'm extremely happy with all of these depictions of my characters. Granted, I'm just so flattered and happy to have any art of my characters from Genki and Sienna at all. But this in particular is just such a wonderful way of capturing each of the characters here. So if you'd like, I can do a little rundown. I'm sure you know who the Tanuki is, of course, but there's some side characters from Genki and Sienna who are here as well. Would you like me to go through?
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. So as a start, I want to talk about the first one, which is coming through for you. This is the character of Mai. Mai is actually one of the side characters from Genki and Sienna, but she has somewhat of an important role, I would say. She essentially has been working at the recording studio that Genki and Sienna takes place at for a long time. And she is someone that people who are familiar with Trixie's content would know about because I debuted her character design, on a Trixie stream. So there is a Trixie stream of Trixie getting to know who Mai is. She is somewhat older and more cynical than our main character, Sienna. Sienna is a bright-eyed trans girl who starts working at the recording studio as a new recruit, a newbie. But Mai is a bit more of the cynical adult lady, not too much older than our protagonist, but like a 20-something. And she has a very close friendship and bond and connection with the next character we're going to talk about, which is this cat right here. This is Majima. He is somewhat kind of named after the famous character of Majima from the Yakuza series, but also not really because I've never played that game. I'm sure that like subtly in my head when I came up with this guy's name, I was like subtly thinking of the Yakuza games, but I wasn't like naming him after Majima in the attempt to like make him a similar character to Majima from the games, because I don't actually know much about that Majima. But the meaning of the word Majima, it's a Japanese word, and Genki and Sienna takes place in Japan. Hence all the names, like Mai is spelled with M-A-I as well. Majima is it means an authentic and genuine person who is very true to themselves. And that describes Majima very well. He is the boss of the recording studio. He is a genuine talking anthro cat, and he loves to smoke cigars and just be real, and kind of has a cynical personality of a guy that you'd drink beers with, except he's not a guy, he's a talking cat. And I'm very excited for people to meet him once I finish the first animations of Genki and Sienna. And then, of course, last but certainly not least, we have Genki himself right here, the Tanuki mascot and other main character of Genki and Sienna. Him and the trans girl Sienna herself make up this little story, and it's about their bond because they're both very wide-eyed and very friendly, and they're very close. So that is all the characters that Kino drew. Thank you for this art, Kino.
These look beautiful. I love Kino's line art. And just I love how the eyes are rendered with the Mai was her name, the human character. Yeah.
Mai, yes.
Yeah. It's so like it just really grabs you. I really love it. Like, oh gosh, and then the expression on Majima the cat, so cute. you know he's a stinker. I love it.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I absolutely love the way that Kino captured them as well. And I'm looking forward to seeing like how people will think of this art when they see the characters in motion in the form of animation. With that in mind, I also have one more piece of fan art as well of Genki and Sienna. Did you want me to move on to that one? Is there anything else you wanted to say?
Let's move on.
I've got it right here in the chat, so I'm just going to also give you the social media link. Okay, there's the social media, and here is the image. This one is drawn by...
Oh my gosh! This is so cute. Sorry to interrupt, but oh my gosh, this is adorable. Sorry. Okay.
Isn't it awesome? I totally agree. No worries about the excitement, because I was feeling the same way when I first saw it. There was a lot going on in this scene. This was drawn by Charlie, who uses they, she pronouns, and so I will be using they going forward, as that's what I've used with them in communication. And Charlie is so sweet. On the Genki and Sienna channel, there was 2 live streams I did, which Taperclip very kindly supported and like told his fans about, that were request streams. And Charlie entered the streams and they asked me to draw their OC, and I became friends with them, and then they in return drew this really cool art of Genki, and then in the background you can see Sienna very, very tiny in the corner, but she's wearing her iconic tank top, and they're all panicking at mission control. Which is intentionally like absolutely chaos. We have a rat. I don't know if that's if that actually is Chroma. It's Chroma's rat.
The Chroma rat is everywhere.
So true. Even popping up here in this Genki and Sienna scene. And there's a lobster as well. Just out in space, or potentially like floating in the air inside the control room. That one is up for the viewer's interpretation. Is the lobster outside of the mission control poking on the window, or is he floating upwards inside the mission control room? So
cute. I love it. Like, Charlie really nailed like just a really fun chaos and able to like just show a really complete scene. I love it. This is so fun.
I'm so happy that you feel so positive about it as well. I totally do. Thank you so much for letting me bring these Genki and Sienna fan arts onto the show. I feel way more invigorated than ever before to like get the animations done, because now there's an actual fan base for it who's making art. It's just so sweet.
Yeah. We all got to see Genki and Sienna. Everybody's waiting.
Thank you. And that basically is all I had to say about those fan arts. There is one other fan art that I was going to show you today. Do you want me to show that now, or do you want me to save that?
Yeah, let's see it right now.
Perfect. I'm putting it in the chat right now. This is fan art for AI is Evil, your awesome manga.
Oh my gosh.
It was drawn by... I know, right? I'm hyped. It was drawn by a friend of mine.
Oh my gosh. Oh, this is so cute. Oh my
Oh,
gosh,
it's so sweet to hear your reaction.
it's my taper. It's me. Oh, this is amazing. This is
That was
amazing
exactly
work.
what I was hoping to happen. I'm so glad. So you're very happy with this? 'Cause I was so happy when
Yes,
my friend told
yes.
me.
This is so cool. Oh. This is exactly how I want to look at my book signings. Like they completely nailed it.
Yeah, I really think it's cool what they chose to do for this picture. I'm very, very happy that like they have found out about your channel sort of through like being my pal. You probably
Mhm.
might recognize the profile pic to their YouTube, which is
Yeah,
how they said they would be credited as because they don't really have blue sky or anything yet. They've commented on your channel a few times
yeah.
and they've just really, really always thought you were really cool. They've told me that whenever we were talking in Discord DMs, and
Aw,
they use they them pronouns, so it's totally okay to refer to them like that. And I can't wait to see more art from them. They're a very
yeah.
positive friend.
Yeah, and the YouTube channel is open to airwaves, airwas, open to airwas V. Yeah, but
Complicated.
yeah,
It's actually related to the profile pic. Explain it more in a comment. I got to leave them something to comment on this video because I definitely think they're gonna want to when they hear
yeah.
the fact that we talked about it.
Yeah, yeah. Well. Thank you to them. To open to airwaves. I really appreciate it. This is so cute. This is such a. Oh, this is beautiful. Aw, thank you.
Yay, that's awesome. So that covers all the fan art that I have in the tank. And it's
Yeah,
just great to
yeah. I just need a second. Like, oh, I'm just so touched. Oh, thank you.
Yay. I'm so happy for the positivity. I'm
Yeah.
really glad that I was able to get it to you and make sure that you saw my friend's art for
Oh
you
yeah.
because I really could tell you were gonna be excited and it was everything I hoped for. You were so
Yeah.
excited.
Of course. Oh. I really appreciate it. Thank you. So I guess let's oh my gosh. Oh, right as we were about to move on, I saw Nisa posted one more Deathless fan art.
Oh my goodness, great
Like
timing.
like literally like posted 5 minutes ago. Oh, this is cool. Yeah, we could sneak that in last second.
I'm gonna reply right now. I'm using
Yeah.
my account on Blue Sky, which is just a huge, big image of Tirami kissing Komugi's hand. Look at me, I'm so hysterical with happiness that I can't even speak straight. You were just in time. There we go. I just sent that.
Yes. Yeah, so the post says Kay's memories of her past life surfaced when she was still a child. She remembers a world of skyscrapers and hospital beds. Past and Present Dreams by Nisa, the Deathless fan art. And we see the protagonist with like, oh, this is really cool, like interpretation of that. Like it feel like really love this atmosphere. Oh. Oh, what are your thoughts though, Komugi?
Yeah, I'm just amazed. First of all, that this even managed to happen.
Yes,
Like,
yes. Within the second.
this is a very like old school YouTube moment in a positive way because like
Yes.
I know that these old content she used to make back in the day, there was this huge like social media element where like sometimes they would be like posting on social medias during the show and be like, "Look at me, I'm posting on Instagram right now. I'm interrupting the show." That was like a
Yeah,
super
yeah.
iconic moment, and it's like I literally just got to experience that in real time because I got to like freak out over this awesome Deathless fan art
Yeah.
while commenting, "Girl, you're just in time, Nisa. You made
Yes.
it in."
Yes. Yeah, I really love what's the word I'm looking for? Like the different like perspectives on the buildings and like and how it has that kind of like kind of astral plane kind of world of dreams kind of feeling. It's cool. I really like it. Oh, and then that little deer to the side for that extra touch of like both surrealism and also just like what is actually happening in the story. Ah, so good.
I completely agree. I am very, very intrigued by all the fan arts that's been happening for the Deathless because it feels like a lot of people resonated with
Oh
different
yeah.
events in the story, and
Mhm.
it's really cool. It also makes me very happy because if I may toot my own horn a little
Yeah.
bit, I also technically have drawn the Deathless fan art as a part as a part of the thumbnail that I drew for your
Yeah,
channel.
that's true. That's true.
I'm so glad you used that thumbnail. And any other time that you like have a certain memorable moment from a video that like you would love to have illustrated, I would be glad to draw a thumbnail for you again. And of course, you're not obligated to like pick that thumbnail as the final one. You can do your standard 3 thumbnail test where you use
Yeah.
my thumbnail as one, and then you use some other ones that you created, that kind of thing. I
Mhm.
never am bothered by having my
Yeah.
work used in a 3 thumbnail test because
Oh,
if it wins, that's a huge,
yeah.
huge like whoa, exciting.
Mhm. I'll say like I think for marketing this show specifically, I feel like I have less of that, I guess, pressure to try to get it to as big of an audience as possible. Whereas, like, you know, if I review the newest Pixar movie, I'm definitely doing multiple thumbnail tests for that, because it's like, okay, people want to see what, you know, because that's like the trending thing right now. Whereas this is like I feel like if you want to hear about indie art, you will find this, if that makes sense. Whereas like, and plus it's like, I know like anyone who submits to this podcast, they're going to listen to it, and that's, you know, really who this is for. But yeah, we'll definitely do a thumbnail test though. Yeah.
That's amazing. I can't wait to talk about the pitches and see what kind of fun conversation comes out of it.
Yeah.
Because the whole reason for the first thumbnail I drew was because we had that wonderful discussion about like Yuji and how you decided to call the main character Yuji based on like Trixie. I know there'll be fun discussions that are going to come out of this episode for sure. I'm so excited.
Yeah, and so I thought we would start with our What You Got spreadsheet, so we could check in on what everyone else has been doing. We just talked a lot about the stuff we've been making and what we've been up to. So let's get that spreadsheet up.
I've got it right here.
Awesome.
And I can see a response from Hero DarkyDark. No fucking way. They're a fan of Mightiest Disciple Kenichi. Yes. I'm so glad. That is a throwback.
Let's back up. Let's back up. Okay, so first, for What You Got, first entry, we start out with all of these: your name, pen name, pronouns, which fictional characters you most want to marry. So we got Hero DarkyDark, and they say Shigure Kosaka from Kenichi the Mighty Disciple.
Yes, I love that series.
Yes.
I am very, very glad that you picked that one. That is a throwback.
Yes. Okay. And link to what you want to share, and they've sent a Google Drive, and the Google Drive has their manga, which is very cool. Did you have a chance to flip through their manga that they sent?
Yeah, I looked over the stuff before the show. This is incredibly intricate, and it's very, very impressive how much like work they've done. Like, as a start, like when you're looking at it on the Google Drive that they linked, it's literally like pages of stuff.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
Yeah, so they sent over a whole manga volume 1 of Relentlessly Bullied Hero, and it is a complete story, and it looks pretty cool. I have some thoughts for marketing this, and more from an artistic critique. I believe that there is a campaign going for this right now. There is a Kickstarter campaign that is launching soon for this, and it's trying to see if I could find the exact date, but yeah, it sent us volumes 1 and 2, very kind. And the Kickstarter tagline is, "Our relentless hero's boldness uncovered a conspiracy lurking in the shadowy depths of heroism, following the demise of the star hero." So what were your thoughts about this manga, Komugi?
Well, I hate to start things with such a silly idea, but I just wanted to say I'm so glad to see one of those stories about the hero who gets bullied by the rest of society and has to like overcome that isn't presented to me in one of those stupid AI generated videos on YouTube ads. Because this is a really good premise, and every time I see one that stupid AI generated ad where it's like, I was bullied at school, the girl I liked told me I was worse, it's like, stop with the AI freaking images. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
So good for a manga that is well made like this, taking that premise and making something with it. And another thing I really love about this work that I think is even more illuminated to me, because I know they're a fan of Kenichi, is the fact that like the covers for this like comic and like this manga having like the page spreads where it's like showing you the characters is very much doing something that I love in old school manga like Kenichi, where you can see like the characters' dynamics with each other in the splash page. Like we see how this girl character is like very like openly physical, whereas other characters don't react as well to physical like affection and physical touching. And you can see that relationship explored just in the splash pages. That is awesome. That is exactly what you need to do to give your manga a personality in that regard. So awesome.
As a side note, I will avoid sharing too many pages of this on screen, because if they're doing a Kickstarter for it, I assume you got to pay up to if you want to read this. So I
really refer to the splash pages that appear on like the first 5 pages.
I assume like the first few pages are going to be in the clear, but can't get any more specific than that. Yeah, this is a manga with a lot of personality. I really, really love the waifus in this. I think that they did a great job with that. Protagonist is really cool. I do love how like there are a lot of plenty of like little moments where the characters are just allowed to breathe, like you were saying. It's not just in the splash page. I really love, gosh, I guess I shouldn't, I'm afraid of spoilering too much if this is like paid only, but you know, there are scenes of
you're doing a good job.
Yeah, there are scenes of, you know, the characters just hanging out, and, you know, and characters just like, you know, joking with each other, and I really like that. That's something that I feel like a lot of action series are missing, where, but, you know, if you're just here for the fight, you might not want to see that. I think that they are able to let things breathe, and really well. I thought that like, just like the sense of action was really interesting and dynamic. Probably one of like my, like, I do have a few critiques about the art, but I don't know if we want to move into that just yet, but I'm
prepared to talk about anything you would like to. I think you're doing a great job.
Thanks.
I know it's very exciting to be like given a project before it's released. Like this happened to me, I would be like shitting bricks, but like in a positive way. Like,
yes.
Oh my gosh, someone gave me their new project that's like going to be released. Yeah. You're doing a great job talking about it.
I feel very touched that you trusted us with this. And so I probably, like, you know, there's like all of my art nitpicks, this will not ruin a story for most people. It didn't ruin it for me. It was just one of those like, oh, okay, maybe like keep this in mind next time. And the other thing is, since this is a writer and artist team, these little mishmashes can happen, or, you know, it's the artist like doing the best with their script, or you know, compromising like that. Because like I felt like there were some text bubble placements that were a little bit awkward, and that could have gone a little bit smoother. I also felt like, even though the action was very exciting and very dynamic, I felt like there could be a little bit more background shots where like, you know, we're kind of like at a certain point, it's just like, man, these guys have been punching each other for a while. I don't know where this fight's even gone. Like, you know, if it's like a Dragon Ball fight where they just punch, like, you know, just keep punching until they like ascend into space. I know that's not what's happening. But I feel like there could be a little bit more for the backgrounds. But if this is just one person drawing this, it is incredible work. Because you know, typically for a manga, like, this is high level quality work. This is this is the skill level that you would need to get a serialized manga. This is above and beyond. So like, all of these little, like, all of my like background nitpicks, it's like, okay, but like once you really start cooking, you can hire an assistant to render your backgrounds with a little more detail. But, you know, that's not even going to be an issue, because like, the story itself was like a lot of fun. It was just very over the top. I think that fans, I don't know if this is too normie, but like, I do feel like, you know, if you're into My Hero Academia or My Hero Academia Vigilantes, I do have to make that distinction there. Like, not everyone likes both of them, but I feel like those two...
I do. I like both.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. I feel like this manga definitely would strike with that audience, and I think that it would really appeal to people who are into that genre. Sorry. like there's a lot of Hero Acca books. I could say it's a genre. But yeah, I've talked a lot. What are your thoughts, Komugi?
I have a lot of thoughts. I wanted to say you're right about the My Hero Academia similar audience. That's very great motivation for this comic author. I assume it is just one person writing and drawing, because that was the impression I got from reading the byline.
They did hire an artist for this, I believe? Question mark? No, I'm not sure. Let me double check.
Oh, Hero, created and written by Kem Virgil. Oh, and then it says comic artist. You're so right. So right. I didn't understand that. So one person created these characters and wrote it, and another person is the artist for the comic.
Yeah. The artist did a great job, definitely.
Jose Debu, very cool. They're the artist for this. They definitely did a great job.
Yeah.
And I was going to say the similar audience to My Hero Academia makes sense. There exists a stream tier list video that I created before tier lists started to become cool again. I did this like 2 months ago, where I was hired by someone called Leaf Blady to do a tier list about shonen. And on there was My Hero Academia. And the chat, who was all of our friends, were very, very annoyed by My Hero Academia's recent developments, and were like, I don't like the spinoff. And I was its biggest defender. It's a very funny video. I definitely recommend at least checking out the My Hero Academia segment, because I gave an impassioned defense for that work. And I think that
Interesting.
there are other people out there like me. I am positive on all aspects of that series, all the entries. Obviously, I have flaws with it, but I do think that it's very good.
Yeah, I was a little more lukewarm on it, but like but I would be interested in hearing your take on it. But anyway, yeah, it definitely would appeal to people into those series.
And yeah, basically, that's all I was going to say. I'm glad my audio is still coming across okay. I think if there was anything else I wanted to say as I wrap this up, I loved all of the advice that you gave to Hero DarkyDark in order to make this the best that it could possibly can be, because they have a very unique place as the writer and like creator of this series. I imagine there are probably many times like in their office or maybe like at their porch, wherever they draw this, where they were drawing these characters like their basic concept art, obviously not drawing the final art of the work because that was done by Jose Debut, which I hope I'm pronouncing you right, Jose Debut. Feel free to let me know in the comments. But they were probably drawing like the basic ideas of these characters, like getting the concept art done and be like, oh, well, this one's going to have like black hair and like she's going to dress with chains around her belt. And I can imagine that it was a very exciting process for them. And so I think it's important that we give them as much advice we can so that it can be a success. And I think another thing to keep in mind is that I've told this story many times on the podcast before. I used to be very active on the other podcast on this channel called Saturday Wars, where Tabor does a great job talking about a manga that is not marketing itself very well. And I think just like looking at what the good ways to market this are that come off as genuine and emotionally sincere, not making it come off like, it's like a product that like we're just going to buy off like a store shelf. We want to make it look like this is an independent work that you're going to be interested in because it has myself in it, referring to the writer and creator, and it has Jose Debu's beautiful artwork in it. That is what is really important. And I think he'll do a great job. I'm going to give you the same advice that I gave to Amy as well when they were marketing their series. Amy, she has a great series called The Deathless, which is to keep in mind that any kind of comments, even if they're comments that seem like they're not talking about your theories as much as you want, they still are good to see. Like, even if you get a comment from someone who's like, Relentlessly Bullied Hero is really cool because it reminds me of My Hero Academia's this scene, and then they just write a paragraph-long thing about My Hero Academia, still consider that a win because they're comparing you to something popular and it's worth engaging with. I see some people online who are like, well, if I'm not networking and talking to the important people, then I don't need to talk to these random people leaving the very personal comments, but don't look over the little guys. And I think you are a great person because you're supporting Tabor, and that's a great sign of you being an admirable person. So I think it'll be very easy for you to keep these advices in your mind as you market this cool series.
Yeah. One more thing about like to backtrack a little, I thought of something I wanted to add. Main girl, Sasha, when I first saw her design, I'm like, oh, this is like kind of like a normie, kind of safe waifu kind of look to her, but like her personality is just so fun, and I love her interactions with the protagonist Zeal. Like that's my pitch. If you look at the character designs and you're like, this isn't really for me. Like I did kind of have that first impression too, but I think the character writing really stands out in this. So that is my perspective on it. But back to the marketing. I was similarly thinking like, okay, how comparing this with how Saturday AM does their marketing, and I was thinking of how they draw like a lot of crossover art of like, oh, here's my OCs in My Hero Academia world, or my OCs in the Bleach world. Cause I don't know how effective that marketing is, but it is like interesting. I did see recently that that there was a short animation made like a crossover of Dog Ningen and Invincible, and it's the two characters talking. It was a lot of fun, and it was more of this interesting moment between the characters, and like how would they meet and interact. I think that for something like and that got shared around, and I think because Dog Ningen does have this cult fan base and people who would want to see that, and seeing like how does this character interact with Invincible. It's like, okay, there is like an audience for that, whereas like, okay, if you just draw the OCs in Invincible style, that might work, because like I know it's worked sometimes, because that was that, you know, like I said, that is like where my mind first went, was like, okay, I've seen how other indie shonen series market themselves. What's something similar or different that they could do? Yeah, this one does feel like kind of a tougher sell, where, you know, where it is like very the title does like deliver, like it does deliver on the title, but yeah, shonen's tough, because shonen is tough, because like you're competing with like the biggest comic.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, I got totally distracted because I was on Blue Sky just appreciating that wonderful art you received. And then suddenly Kilo Rat, my good friend who posts hot furry mascot scenes, that's literally like what he does. He posted a really cute video from one I've never even heard of that was like an RPG adaptation, or at least he retweeted it or something, because it seems like it's actually old. And I got so distracted by the cute hot mascot. He's a rat.
Totally understandable. But
allow me to distract myself from this hot rat, because I do have thoughts on what you said.
Yeah. I think that because I think when you have a fetish element in a manga, and I don't mean that does not necessarily need to be like, I don't mean that in a sexual sense necessarily, then it's like, well, then that becomes easier for it to market, because then it's like, well, people that are into the thing will, you know, they will sign up for the thing. Whereas like, like everything here is like pretty like on the dot safe. Like, even though like there is like, you know, sexy characters and, you know, and there's exciting moments, it's nothing where it's like, I can't get this anywhere else. Whereas like, you know, if there was like a sexy mascot character like Komugi, I know you'd get it. Like, and that's not like to discourage this manga or to say that it's bad. I'm just saying like, I'm not really sure what lane it should take for marketing, but yeah, you go ahead.
I have a lot of thoughts. I think when you brought up that, how is my audio still?
Yeah, you're doing good. You're doing good. Yeah.
When you brought up Invincible crossing over with Dog Ningen, my thought process was immediately like, oh my gosh, that makes too much sense.
Yes,
I want to clarify that this is not a criticism of either of these works, and it is not me saying that there's something is bad about either of these works. It's simply an explanation of why I myself have never been into Dog Ningen or Invincible, which is that their mindset about how to present the clashing of different cultures, different types of non-human characters with human characters, is to always present it in the most graphic and disturbing way possible, without going into content about dog, about the disgusting content about dog.
No, I know what you mean for both. Don't worry.
It is not a pro furry series. I mean, it has a furry protagonist, but not for good reasons. That's all I'll say. So one of those things where like it makes perfect sense that Invincible and Dog Ningen would cross over, and this kind of leads me to a moral that I wanted to put out there about that I think is really beautiful about your work, Relentlessly Bullied Hero, and what potential you have. Which is that from what I've read of your work, again, I struggled to figure out how the forums work, so I only read the beginning part of the PDF. But from what I read, I got a very positive vibe that is much like anime, like genuine Japanese anime, which inspire you, is actually very accepting to all different kinds of creatures and characters from different cultures. There's a great metaphor that I like to bring up, which is referring to Star Trek, the original 60s series, which kind of a message behind that old show was that it was made right after the world had been in a very tumultuous time. With events such as, obviously, civil rights movement and the horrible mistreatment of various minority groups in America, Star Trek sought to have the message of every type of person and even alien species should all be respected and treated with positivity, and there should be coexistence between all the peoples and all of the cultures of different aliens. And I believe that anime is very much about this as well. As much as people who are anime fans of like the certain popular ones can like believe that, oh, anime would never be positive towards furries, and there's this whole stupid online debate of anime versus furries. That's actually not the case in anime and its creatives at all. They are very pro-furry, and it's been that way since the beginning. So what I mean to say is that your work, Relentlessly Bullied Hero, which is very accepting of all different kinds of people and characters, is something that has a great potential to network with many different series. Even if there is not a mascot in this series, if you're pro mascots, then you've got Komugi on your side. I think that's a great thing to keep in mind. And thank you for showing this awesome series to us.
Yeah. I think they are on the right track with like just getting different artists to draw these characters. I think that is definitely the best direction to take to just get more people involved, to just get more attention on it. even if there's not like a clearly defining trope or element that will just make people who are crazy about the thing buy the thing. You know what? Good luck with the Kickstarter. I really hope it goes well. Let us know in the comment section how things went. And this goes for anyone, by the way. If you want to clip our podcast and remix it and repost it and post that anywhere you want to help with your sales, help generate interest in whatever you're making, please feel free. I will never copyright strike. So hopefully we said something clip worthy that you can parade around and be like, look, my stuff's so good. Look at what they said about me on Scooter Pitch Podcast.
I completely agree with you there. And I think it's absolutely wonderful that we were able to talk about this comic. I'm going to refer to it as a comic going forward because that's how I was referred to on the pages. On this show. Thank you for being a member of Taperclip's channel. He appreciates the support, and I do as well, because it leads me to get to experience this through the show, all thanks to Taper. And I also just wanted to take this moment to mention something positive as well that I was going to say, which is that these kind of comics, it is very scary to put yourself out there and make something original like this and try to get approval of people on a podcast. But you've already got 2 people here on this podcast who were very positive about your work. I currently right now am working on a little comic project with Ellen Horizon. We talked about in the fan art section. And I felt afraid for a moment, like if I was ready to talk about it, like if it would be positively received when I mentioned it. But I already know that I've got Taper right here who's positive on it and is like, you and Ellen making something together, that's freaking sweet. So I think that's just perfect communication. Thank you. I'm really happy you feel that way.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think this is the first time hearing about it, if I'm not mistaken, but that's so exciting.
I wanted to debut it here for all of your loyal fans who were interested to watch Scooter Pitch. Ellen and I are going to make a comic together.
Yes, that's so cool. Even more monster love, I assume.
I will not give any details spoiling it, but you will be very satisfied if you are a fan of Monster Girls. I will say that.
That's great. That's great. All right, let's move on to the next one for our member updates. So we got Amy Warrel once again. She says, for her name, pen names, which fictional characters you most want to marry. She says, Amy Warrel, once again, you know the drill. And link to what you want to share. And she shares her YouTube channel at Brainworm Podcast. And she says, the Brainworm Podcast channel will eventually be rebranded to encompass a whole group of very wacky individuals, making Brainworm just one of the shows in this collective. Yeah, it's a podcast that Amy is doing with Yakuman and were you on an episode? I'm sorry, I'm not caught up.
I am now, as of episode 2, planning to be a regular member of the Brainworm Podcast.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, that's so cool. Since it's a YouTube podcast, I'll put my hoof down and say I really can only give feedback on manga, but
that makes sense.
And I think you're gonna have a little bit of a bias if you're involved. Sorry, gonna keep it a little short here, but if you like Worm, it's a novel, right?
Worm is a novel. I will give a brief comment just so that you are aware what essentially this is. This started off as a kick-ass project by Yakuman and Amy because Yakuman had never read Worm before, and Amy wants everyone to read Worm because Worm is a web serial, a web novel that it has somewhat of a cult fan base. I don't understand how big or what type of people are in that cult fan base, if I'm being honest, but Amy is one of them for sure, and Amy was determined to get Yakuman to read it, and Yakuman is so funny on that podcast. He's like, yep, I'm here because of Amy. This is definitely happening right now. He gives the best performance. I love it. And so I am now dragged in as well. Amy is capturing all of us. I don't know, Taper. Amy might capture you at some point.
Maybe. I don't want to spoil anything. I heard some whisperings that Chroma might be on a future episode, that Amy wants to recruit Chroma because Chroma is like into Worm. So that would be a good fit. It would be pretty funny if the entire Saturday Wars crew got together on the Worm podcast.
That is so freaking funny. I am so excited about what you've been doing with Saturday Wars, and I also wanted to let all of the viewers know that even though I've been so busy with work, I actually have found a nice balance in my schedule where I have time at the end of the day, like from 6 p.m. onwards, and I also have weekends totally free. So in the event that Taper is able to record after 6 p.m. on a weekday or is available on weekends to do the show then I would be glad to appear on Saturday Wars again. If Taper thinks that I would be able to be relevant and bring something to the show, because Saturday Wars is really cool. And everyone who has not seen what Saturday Wars has been, what I should say, what the podcast on Saturday Wars has been doing recently, you're in for a fun time. Oh. And if you haven't been seeing what Saturday Wars themselves have been doing recently, they consider yourself lucky. And that's all I'll say.
That reminds me, I after we recorded last episode, because Ellen sent her pitch about card game manga. And I was thinking about that, and I brought up the Saturday Wars podcast in relation to her pitch. Because, like, the Saturday Wars podcast is a lot of fun, and I was thinking, like, okay, how do I translate this into manga? And so I was thinking about Ellen's manga and like what and how to see that, because if we were to just adapt just chronologically the events of the podcast to a manga or another story, it would suck. Because like a good anime, Saturday Wars podcast, it does not get good until episode 3, and it just kind of like spirals from there. And there's this like intrigue to Saturday Wars where it's just like, okay, what's going on with these cards? What's happening? Where it's not really something that would necessarily make it like a gripping manga, especially, when you have Yu-Gi-Oh! Setting the standard and, and they're having their lightsaber battles over the card games. I
Yu-Gi-Oh! Is so freaking cool. When they ride the motorcycles.
Yes, card games on motorcycles. Like, if we, like, I'm using the royal we because it's like, hey, if you feel inspired, go for it. But it's that feeling of how do you, for a card game anime, it's a lot of it can be like, how do you capture the feeling of what's going on rather than just going down the line by the books, this is what's happening. Because I am like really like, not to get too full of myself, but I am like really proud of that podcast. I have a lot of fun with her. Komugi, I think you brought really good energy to the podcast, and I really hope that you can come on a future episode. I'm so happy that like your schedule's like cleared up. We would love to have you back on.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And you know what? And if your schedule gets a little mixed up, it's all good. Maybe worst case scenario, we could bring you back for the season finale, like Michael Scott in The Office.
Oh my gosh, I was literally thinking of like The Office and The Return. Like, yes. I would be so glad to do something like that. Yes. Thank you.
Well, we'll have the season finale where we all play Saturday Wars card game and Komugi makes her triumphant return.
I just wanted you to know, Taper, you have made such a wonderful impression with everyone from that server, and Trixie thinks the world of you, and everyone is so glad that we have such a talented creator like you as a part of our community. You have legitimately made it to the big time. You are friends with comic creators, and they're paying you money just to show an early release of their comic. That is incredible, Taper. You deserve to be very proud.
Thank you. I am very touched. but thank you. I that does mean a lot. I am really glad for all the support and love from the Golden Butterflies. I'm really, it does mean a lot to have more of a network and support group for creating things rather than just like, I'm just going to be holed up alone doing this. and to just be able to do that and bounce ideas off of other people and also see what everyone else is up to. And it's really, really nice. I think I think I said everything I wanted to about Ellen's work from the last episode. Sorry to bring that up, but that was like the ultimate, like, as soon as I stopped recording, I was like, wait, there was one more thing. but we do have our pitches. This is the highlight of the show. I'm putting it at the end.
Your name, pen name, pronouns, and which fictional character you most want to marry. Well, for this pitch, we have Kenzie, Mayday from space, she, her pronouns, and I'm already married to Mothman. We'd love to see it.
Love to see it.
We love to see that. Good stuff.
Yeah.
We have, what is your elevator pitch given in the form of series meets series? Well, we have for Kenzie, haven't really thought about it, but Hitchhiker's Guide meets Last Bot Standing. Sort of a question mark to say, like, that's kind of the idea I've got. Okay. And then we have summarize your potential series in one paragraph. This is where to include the series medium, if it's not a manga, the intended length, and all of your big plans. If you have a title for your work, this is where to include it. If you go over a paragraph, we will make fun of you. And this one says, this is an old idea. called Boondoggle.
Yeah, Boondoggle.
I had fun reading that.
Yeah.
A short story about astronauts who get stranded at an interstellar bar after Earth is destroyed. Having no understanding of the world that surrounds them, they resolve to steal the first ship they can and commit to life as space pirates, stealing a garbage truck, spaceship, and naming it Boondoggle. Humanity's last story becomes one about getting lost in the stars. And then we have optional, link one image that best sums up your potential series. Your art is best. If you can't draw, feel free to use bad MS Paint edits, AI art, schizo mood board, memes, whatever will communicate the vibe of your series. And if you use AI art for this, the comment section will make fun of you. And I've got theirs right here on my computer pulled up, and it is. Do you have it pulled up as well?
Yeah. It's the garbage truck from Thundercats.
Fascinated by this because as soon as I heard the name and I heard it out loud, I was reminded of the old Yoshiyuki Tomino classic anime called Zaboongle. So this is Boondoggle, but there's an old Tomino anime called Zaboongle, and Zaboongle is by Tomino, who created Mobile Suit Gundam. So naturally, even though it's not as popular as Gundam, it has a little bit of attention to it. It's by one of anime's most important dudes. And I honestly am very much getting anime vibes from this image as well, because Thundercats was produced in collaboration with Japan. It wasn't like, obviously, an anime, quote unquote. It was still considered a cartoon. But it was produced in collaboration with Japan, which I've done a whole video about before, actually. And so I think it's cool that there's sort of an 80s like retro anime vibe to this. That art is just even further supporting that idea in my mind.
I think that this story concept it feels very good for just for a lot of interpersonal character conflict, like because my mind goes to how much of the story takes place on them in the garbage truck spaceship. Like how much of it is how many bottle episodes are there going to be? I guess would be a better way of like describing what I'm thinking, or if it's going to be a little bit bigger than that. Let me look up Last Bot Standing. I haven't heard of that one. Okay, so it is a Transformers comic book series. Okay,
yeah, I definitely had heard of that before, even if I hadn't read it. Transformers is somewhat of an interest to me. This is a Western-produced Transformers installment. When you look at the art, it is very like American comic book, and not so much Japanese, which is, you'd think it would be, because it was originally designed by Shoji Kawamori, who was the guy who also designed Macross and a bunch of other iconic mecha. He designed the Transformers originally.
That's really cool.
So it's a cool fun fact.
Wow.
You didn't know about that? The guy who designed Macross and also the Cowboy Bebop spaceship as well. He designed.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea. That's really cool.
That was all my knowledge. I'd love to share it.
Yes, thank you. I want to read the premise for Last Bot Standing. This is the first time hearing about this comic book. So it says, in a distant future, the war between Autobots and Decepticons on Cybertron is over, but all Transformers are nearly extinct. Rodimus is the last surviving Cybertronian and is haunted by the sins of its species. He spends his final days in Donok, a planet on the verge of collapse after industrialization. That's really cool. So I wonder how much of this is going to be like the guilt over like, wow, humans kind of suck.
Oh yeah, that's a really good point. And I feel like the Thundercats inspiration makes even more sense with that in mind, because Thundercats is very much like they're the last of their civilization. It's like the dying breath as they fly out into space in hopes to survive and keep the society alive, not go extinct. So I definitely understand the inspiration. Some people wouldn't, but I see what you're getting at here.
Oh yeah,
Kenzie.
yeah. You definitely understand it a lot better than I do, but yeah, a vision, like a very cloudy vision, is starting to form for me. For just the general series vibe. I think that I wish I didn't put that. If you go over a paragraph, we will make fun of you because Kenzie followed the directions and she kept it under a paragraph. So this is all we're seeing. But I would be curious what kind of characters that you have planned for this, or I guess I want to know like what traumas are going to be represented in this. not so much like the characters, but what concepts are they working through?
I really would be intrigued by it as well. I want to begin by saying thank you, Kenzie, for having the bravery to like put this idea out there with the idea that we might potentially like say like, well, this doesn't really make sense to me. I'm not familiar with Transformers. You got lucky with us. You got a massive Transformers fan in me, and you got Tate who's very intrigued by what you're hinting at. But it's always so brave to put your idea out here and just not be afraid of the response. So very cool stuff. And you're right. You kept it underneath the paragraph. So bravo.
See, I can't say like if you go over a paragraph, we'll make fun of you. Unless you have a really cool idea, then you can yap all you see. I can't do that because I don't know who's going to have a cool idea or not. but yeah, this is really solid. This does sound really interesting. Sure, I've said this for the other ones, but yeah, definitely feel free to elaborate in the comment section and let us know like what you're thinking for this. I think because the elevator pitch is Hitchhiker's Guide meets Last Spot Standing. I'm guessing it's not going to get too dark and heavy.
Well, I mean, you'd be surprised what happened to some of those later Hitchhiker's Guide books. I used to be a big fan. Back in like late elementary school, early middle school, I had a friend who was really cool, and I unfortunately didn't get to know him very well until he moved. And he was a big Hitchhiker's Guide fan, and he was like, "Have you seen this thing?" And I was like, "I never have." And I watched a movie because of him, and then I got the books from a garage sale. And they do go pretty dark. I would describe it as like dark in the same way that early Star Trek is dark, where there'll be an incidental like anthology story, like, just like a little side story. And that side story will be like the most fucked up thing you've ever heard, where you're like, whoa, they really had a rough time of it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, how many side stories are we planning for Boondoggle? How many dramatic flashbacks before they got stranded are we going to see? Or if it's just going to be like powering through.
Yeah, I totally look forward to seeing more. Kenzie, you are so cool.
Yeah, thank you so much for submitting, Kenzie. And then she also has some plugs. She says, I'm Mayday from Space on Blue Sky and Tumblr, and Mayday _from Space on YouTube. I make a lot of random stuff. You might like some of it. Yeah, I've watched some of her YouTube channel. Let me pull that up now. Yes. So Mayday from Space is doing Oops, I Reincarnated as a tier lister, as a video series, and these are really, really fun. I don't know if you've watched any Komugi, if you want to give any thoughts.
I am familiar with the Oops, I Was Reincarnated as a tier list series. Trixie was the one who put me onto this, and I always was very fond of Kenzie and how positive they were and like what kind of vibe they put out in their content.
Oh yeah.
But I didn't know that they were doing these tier list vids, and I think Kenzie is the unsung hero of inspiring all of us to do more tier lists.
Oh yeah.
I'm doing an awesome list now. Friend of the show, Giga Donk Krona is doing a whole new tier list channel. And I feel like Kenzie might have been the unsung hero that kickstarted the tier list fandom. I really think so.
Yeah, I'm always really happy whenever she is a very positive force within the Golden Butterflies. And I watched the packaging one. I helped her with the thumbnail on that one. And
aww.
Yeah. Yeah, really, really happy I could help out on that. This is not the kind of content I would typically seek out, but she has a very compelling personality, and she's just very, very nice to listen to. I've been saving her episode 1 was Warframe's Head Games. It's an hour and 30 minutes. I gotta get like a nice big meal before I watch that one. Like I'm really looking forward to just vegging out and watching that one.
That is a really cool way to experience it.
Oh, yeah.
Oftentimes I watch videos on my phone while I eat, but I'd never considered eating before I start so that I can focus.
No. Yeah, I would be eating while watching. If that's important. if anyone's keeping track at home, there's a subreddit called gosh, what was it? It was like mealtime YouTube mealtime YouTube videos, I think, and it's like videos that you watch while you eat. So it's like it'll be like a 40-minute video. It's like the perfect to heat something up and chill out and watch it and just turn your brain off.
That's freaking sweet.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I just ate a banana, so if you heard me chewing onto the microphone, I'm sorry.
It's a mealtime podcast now.
I'm very, very glad for the discussions that came from this, and thank you for giving the proper shout out to stuff, because I almost would have forgot.
Yeah, definitely go follow Mayday from Space. I think that if you like mine or Komugi's content, I think that Mayday from Space, that she's a personality that would also resonate with you. I see only 14 subscribers. We got to get them numbers up.
100%. It's Mayday from Space, all one word, on Blue Sky and Tumblr. And then it's Mayday _ from Space on YouTube. I assume that Mayday from Space, all one word, might have been taken. And then they make lots of random stuff. You might like some of it with their comment on themselves.
Yeah. Very cool. Let's move on to the next pitch. So we have your name, pen name, pronouns, which fictional characters you most want to marry. So we got Amy Warrel, she, her, and Queen from 2B Hero X, aka myself. All right. And what is your elevator pitch? Give it in the form of series beats series. And she says, Malazan meets A Song of Ice and Fire, which doesn't really sum it up, but they are very obviously the main influences here. And Komugi, did you feel up for reading the paragraph summary or?
Sure, I'd be glad to.
Thank you.
Summarize your potential series in one paragraph. This is where to include the series medium, if it is not a manga, the intended length, and all your big plans. If you have a title for your work, this is where to include it. If you go over a paragraph, we will make fun of you. Amy says, The Ladies' Blood is one of the many books in the Books of Sale, a working title. Saga, a series of medieval, historical, drama, fantasy books that are meant to be read in whatever order you prefer or encounter them at. Each book connects to the others despite all telling a closed story. This is the book I failed to write before starting the Death List. I got 205,000 words into it, but I am stubborn and I know I can make this better, maybe even as a manga. Anyways, it starts following a native tribe who is enslaved and sold to work in a farm, who then rebel and end up fleeing to another continent to fight a war that isn't theirs. Said war is the first large-scale conflict to involve the usage of the newly discovered magic in the battlefield, which is not super developed at this point, but basically means this world is going to see a lot of death in the near future. This magic, however, makes no distinction between who it blesses, and a power that is potentially equally achievable by all who enter in contact with it messes with the status quo, in parentheses, patriarchy in parentheses. Hence, a couple women with a little too much magic might be able to decide the future of a kingdom. And since I am very critical of the idea of gods in general, of course this story is about killing some of them. The character that this entire story kind of originates from is Eniksactana, an albino princess turned mage who willed dragons into existence. She's pretty cool for doing that. Except I'm writing against a lot of fantasy tropes here. So she turns into a dragon instead of having or summoning one. And her wielding enough power to wreck a battlefield is definitely not an analogy to mass destruction weapons. Ah, fuck. I didn't even mention all the other main characters. I'm starting to understand why I failed to write this before. Aw, fuck. I can't believe I didn't mention the other main characters. Punch sound. Aw, fuck. I can't believe I've done this.
And then link one image that best sums up your potential series. And Amy says, I have been granted permission to share a whole page. This sums up the style and tone I'm going for very well. And Amy links an entire page. I will not read this. I will just put it on screen if you want to read it at home. So Amy's last few pitches, I've said, I don't know fantasy. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to say it again. I'm not going to say it again for Amy's pitch. I can't say that every time Amy comes to us with her ideas that she has lovingly crafted. I can't just shrug and say, I'm so sorry, Amy. I don't care about what you're writing about. I don't want to do that to Amy. Because luckily, I do have something to say about this. Everybody please clap. I thought of something to say about a fantasy series. Specifically, the dragon, because...
I don't know if my clapping picked up.
Oh, your what?
My clapping.
Okay. You got the clapping soundboard?
No, I was real life clapping, but I'm guessing that discretion is capturing.
I think it suppressed it. I'm so sorry. Oh yeah, we'll pretend that like there was uproarious applause. Yeah, I see you're going muted whenever you clap. Oh no.
Well, don't keep us in.
Okay, so we have albino princess turns into a dragon. This is very cool. This is a very good waifu character that will make this series more marketable. Now, and I was jumping at the chance to talk about this because I have done this. I have done a fantasy series where one of the characters turns into a dragon. Yes, I get to talk about my shit. and I get to, hopefully I won't derail too hard, but my light novel, Polymonfer, How to Be Polyamorous in a World of Monsters and Furries. One of the characters in the polycule is called Matt the Dragon. and he is a dragon. He has a human form. He could turn into like he's like a shapeshifter dragon. And I thought very carefully, how do I make, because dragons are cool and dragons can set the like your monsters will set like the tone for the series. Fortunately, I like draw a lot of Pokemon, so every monster I draw just kind of looks like a few degrees away from Pokemon. And if I get lucky, I might
not a bad thing. That is very good.
Yeah, on a good day, I might be able to draw a Digimon. But Matt the Dragon. So in my original manga pilot that I did for Polymon for like, I don't want to go on a whole Polymon for a deep dive, but basically I made this manga one-shot pilot, and it was picked up by the manga publisher Lumbento, but not as a manga. I instead opted to make it as a light novel because I felt that would fit the tone of the series and I could do a lot more with it that way.
You pulled some incredible stuff off that I didn't even know about. You got picked up by Lumbento for a light novel? What?
Yeah, that was a while ago. Because it was very difficult to write serialized work. I was having a lot of trouble keeping up with it, and then my YouTube channel picked up, so I was like and balancing, and it had been on hiatus for a long time, so kind of mutually left the company. Wasn't able to complete my light novel with them. It was just kind of dropped in hiatus, but you know what, no hard feelings. I still have a lot of love and respect for the team and the CEO founder. I don't know if he wants to be addressed in those terms, martial arts, but he was understanding of like, hey, the YouTube channel's blowing up. You go do that, so he was very cool about it, and we're still like promoting each other's stuff. But anyway, so I pitched him
light novel.
Yeah. What
is it? Is there a part of it that's out that I can read, or that
unfortunately, Polymonfer is lost media at the moment. I haven't because it was removed from Lumbento's website because they don't need like something that's like in hiatus. I wrote about half of book one, and then YouTube arc started, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm doing this. So I haven't found where I want to host it or publish it. I don't want to like assume like, oh, well, they would take me back. Like,
make a comic so good that Lumbento wanted to publish it. How did you even pull this off? Did you show it to them, or did they come to you?
I went to them. I saw that this was pretty early in the company's inception, and I keep track of all OEL manga. And so I saw that they had applications open, and so I submitted my Polymonfer, and I passed the interview process. I like their vibe, they like my vibe. Thing is, I was also like kind of hesitant about doing a serialized manga with them, and I was like, oh, well, I think I could write a light novel chapter every month. Turns out I couldn't do that either, and that is also very, very difficult. Like writing fiction is hard, but I bring all this up because Polymonfer, the manga pilot that I made, because like I wanted that series to be very, very marketable. Like I wanted, because like I was talking earlier about
design.
As I was talking about easily bullied hero. Relentlessly bullied hero. Sorry. Yeah, as I was talking about relentlessly bullied hero, I was like, okay, you need like very specific fetishes and hooks and characters to get people into it. Now, that might not be everyone's vibe. Like, that where, thinking in those terms might just feel inherently anti-art to some people. I think it's fun to play with that, but I also like totally respect if someone's like, no, I'm not doing like waifu shit. Like, but for me, like, for Polymonfer, like I wanted to make like very waifu and to just do all kinds of fetishes in that manga. And even though when I was talking about Bullied Hero, I was like, hey, fetish in manga doesn't have to mean sexual. No, I mean sexual for mine. I mean like stuff that is gonna get on E621 kind of fetish. And so,
oh, good goal.
Yeah. So for Matt the Dragon in the original manga pilot, I made him. His default was a human form that was like, he looked a little homeless, like he was kind of a bad boy, and I thought like, ooh, that'll be fun, like, ship him with the main princess character, like that's always like a very fun dynamic. And then he also has his dragon form that he transforms into, and it's just like this big giant Charizard looking fella that is out for he's gonna destroy everything. And so nice. when I changed it to like, and so then for the light novel, there were things that I, changed for it. And one of the main changes, like, because his default in the manga was like he has this human form that he just kind of like walks around as, and so he could kind of like just blend into society. And so I was thinking like, okay, so this needs to be furrier. Like, I need a furry to look at this main cast and be like, oh, this is a furry thing, and just to feel ignited by that. And I felt like I was missing out by making Matt the Dragon be in his human form so often. So instead, like his default form in the final light novel version, he's like an anthro bipedal dragon that's very cute and has like, and it has like more of like a cuddly kind of design. And then he could also turn into like his big scary dragon form when he's out to attack. Because I thought like, okay, like a cute furry dragon character, that is going to have more appeal than, that like just him just looking like a guy that like, yeah, there are people into that, like, because I'm thinking like a character like Aizawa from My Hero Academia, tons of fangirls, a lot of people love him, and they like, men that look a little dirty. Matt the Dragon, it's like, no. Even though there's people that like that husbando type, there's furries are starving for content for like, and I mean that like in like furries in anime and manga, like there needs to be more of that. And I need to make this. So I think that is, I think that with this pitch with like this cool princess who turns into a dragon, that's so cool. Like, I think that, like you try to think of like what kind, not just like what kind of princess, what kind of dragon, like what is the art style for the dragon? Like, do you want to attract the Pokemon kind of like cool monster crowd? Do you want like the big powerful dragon? Because when you said like albino princess, I thought, let me pull this up. So I thought, I know that this is kind of I know this is a contentious series, but I did think of Dragon Maid and how like the dragons have their humanoid form and then they also have their dragon form. So you said like albino princess, and my thought like, so what filled in the blank for me was the true form of Kana, the younger sister dragon, and she has like this very angelic looking dragon form for her true form, which is like
great design.
Yeah, it's just so pretty and fluffy, and it's really cool how the dragon forms and the human forms, like how like they look like they make sense, like in that like, oh, it looks like this person would turn into that dragon, and I think that is like another like very fun element to try to keep that in mind when designing the character. Like, but yeah, what did you have to say, Komugi?
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on the different topics that you rose. As a start, in terms of appealing to the furries with your work, I think you should not be so hard on yourself to believe that by only having one character who looks anthro, or by only having a character who is anthro some of the time, you shouldn't be so hard on yourself to believe that that makes it any less furry, because it's still furry culture to me. And of course, I wouldn't want to speak for the entire community, but all of us are open to all different kinds of anime and manga that have some kind of anthro element, even if they're in a human form some of the time. Because I've made 3 videos now for Trixie's channel. We watch anime. I do it every year for Pride Month. And it's about gay, furry anime to watch for Pride Month.
Yes.
And in that series, I even talk about franchises where it's just like an anthro who sometimes takes on a human form, like the Dragon Maid thing. That was really started actually by Miss Rumiko Takahashi in the 70s and 80s.
True.
Because she had Urusei Yatsura, her classic series about an Oni alien who was mostly a humanoid-looking alien, but is technically an Oni girl. Who was in love with a boy. But in the side cast, there is another boy who is mostly in human form, but sometimes he turns into a big, fluffy, very furry tiger. And he actually is a very loved character in the series, and multiple characters were in love with him. And so Rumiko Takahashi proved that you can have characters who are in human form sometime, but still count as furry. And I think that what you said about the idea of your series and this series having different roads to go down in terms of how we want to answer a character, regardless of which road you pick, whichever one you're comfortable with, we're going to appreciate that rep. And perhaps that is partially because, as you have said, furries are starved for any anthro content, especially in anime and manga. But I think that it also is that in the heart of anime and manga, even when we look at anime such as Osamu Tezuka, etc., they were big furries themselves. Osamu Tezuka made like a different manga about falling in love with an Answer furry. One of those called Baggy, the monster of mighty nature. And so I think that just do what you're comfortable with, and we will appreciate it regardless. That is basically my message.
Yeah, that's a great point. Like if you're not comfortable like doing over the top, like if it just doesn't fit the vibe, then there is no reason to force it. And I think people can tell when it's insincere. I think gosh, there was like a good video I saw, and like and it was very generalizing, but it was saying like, well, I think people are sick of all these Marvel movies, but because they can tell it's like made in a factory, but mangas and anime's picking up because it's like one guy telling a story, and it's like I don't know if like the what's it called, like what something makes money like if the box office numbers and
sales figures.
Yeah, sales figures. Thank you. Yeah. I don't know if the sales figures like quite support that theory, but but yeah, there is something to be said when it's when you are like making your story go in a direction because you think people will want it, and that's a tricky balance. I think all artists like have their thoughts on where I think it was the light novel Welcome to the NHK, where like the editor said like, oh, this would sell more if you had a girl, like, and so they just put like a girl on the cover, but like she's barely in the book. I think that was the light novel, but there's many cases like that where it's like, oh, if you tweak this one little thing, like it would sell more, but then you kind of like have that pushback of like, okay, but how much do I tweak?
You okay?
Yeah. I'm just trying to think like, was it that one? Like, but there are plenty.
Luckily, NHK is complicated because the idea was just a guy trapped in his room going nuts because he's a neat. I think the purpose of the female character, I mean, she obviously is a character in her own right, and like she has some traits to her that can say something to the audience, like about what it's like to have like that one friend who brags you out of this pit. But I am sure that it's totally possible that she was added after an editor requested it. I don't have any confirmation of that, but that sounds plausible in my mind.
See, I haven't read it, so I do feel a little hesitant to even like bring that up. Because it's like, there's
bad. You've done such a good job disclaimering it, like putting a disclaimer, like I don't know for sure. So don't ever feel bad. It's not misinformation if you're just guessing.
Yeah. This is just me spitballing off the top of my head. But point is like, there are a lot of little changes that you can make, and that is why I am zooming in on your dragon character. And I need to know, what kind of dragon do you want to make? What kind of dragon is your albino princess going to transform into? Is she going to look like Kana from Dragon Maid and be this cool, fluffy angel dragon? Is she going to be a recolored Charizard? Is she going to look like one of those gaudy dragons that you get it's like a statue in the mall, like like Dwight got on The Office?
Is she going to be? I need to make sure I get this shit right and I don't spell it wrong.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Is she going to be? Sorry, I'm trying to make sure I don't spell this shit wrong. What the fuck is that Disney ride about the fucking dragon and he goes for your imagination? Figment? Figment.
Yes, Figment.
Is she going to be Disney's Figment? I need to know.
It's just like is she going to look like she turned like is her dragon transformation like she put on a Barney the dinosaur fursuit?
He looked fabulous. I just looked up Figment on Google right now, and he looks like a real dragon. I believe dragon. He looks fabulous. So definitely would be excited if he becomes Figment. But I'd also be equally excited to take in Dragon Maid. Now, for more serious answer. Thank you once again for trusting us with your pitch and submitting it to us, Amy. I do feel like there's tons I'd like to learn about you as well, because I know your inspirations. I know you love the likes of Vinland Saga, and I know that you have respect for these high fantasy works, which is why you write them. But I would love to learn more about like what your thoughts are on Answer characters in fantasy.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't think I've ever heard that from you. Although I have bonded with you before over the mascot character in To Be Hero X, which was mentioned in Amy's which fictional character, thing. So we haven't bonded over mascots before, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on like what place Answeros have in a fantasy story. And I think that this story is a really cool one that gave us a bit of insight. We're like, whoa, Amy's interested in making a dragon girl character.
Yes.
That's really cool.
Yes. Yeah. That is why I will you know what? We want to encourage everyone to make their thing, but this one we need more cool dragon characters.
That we do.
So I think that sums up everything I wanted to say. Any more thoughts about this pitch from you, Komugi?
I basically feel like I said my piece as well. This was a super good thing of like great pitches and great what you gots as well. Thank you everyone for the
and then one more before we sign off. Gotta plug Amy's stuff, and she says read my isekai fantasy web serial at thedeathless.net and follow me on Blue Sky at the Deathless. All right. Thank you so much for getting that in, Amy. And anything else that you want to plug, Komugi?
Oh my gosh, thank you for the honor. Yeah, there's a lot of things I would love to talk about quickly. So Genki and Sienna will have its first release soon. It's going to be a test animation, which means it's going to be a short, like 1-minute animation with music by our friend of the server, Sarah. And we're going to be doing a live stream on Trixie's channel. I'm going to be featured on Trixie's channel, hyping up the premiere. So there's going to be a premiere that's scheduled, and I want to make sure everyone goes to the premiere on Sienna channel. So Trixie is doing a live stream on her channel, and is then going to do something called a raid, where you raid my channel, which means send people over there. It's not a raid in a bad way. It's just a silly name.
Yeah.
So look forward to that.
Exciting. Oh my gosh. I'm really, really happy to hear that. Yeah, I will definitely be there.
That makes me so happy. I want to gather up folks. And anyone in Paperclips audience, if you are there, it will mean the world. So thrilled. So thank you, everyone. That's all I wanted to plug.
Okay, thank you so much, Komugi. Yeah, and my manga is still on Manga Plus Creators, and leaving a comment will help me out a lot in the algorithm. If you want to go over on Manga Plus Creators and say something, reply to someone, leave an emoji. but I really appreciate all the support I've gotten. I don't so thank you all so much.
Bravo on your manga taper. You deserve to be so proud.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone for watching another episode of Scooter Pitch. This was a very love-filled episode.
Yeah, thank you all so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.